Hello everybody, today we are going to talk about interims, and we are in the training site, and I am going to choose a client, which is my name, as a test client search, and we will use this one right here. Alright, so this particular client has been in the Merkle Center of Hope since 9/14/2022. So the point of doing interims is to show your work, and I'm going to show you a little bit more about that at the end of this training. But anything that client has achieved while you have been working with them as a case manager or what have you should be documented in the interim. It is very easy to make the mistake of putting that new information into the entry exit. So when you go to the entry exit tab, you find your particular project, and as you can see here, you have a trash can, you have the program name, the type, the project start date, the exit date, which is empty because this client is still in that project, and then you have the interim. When you go into the start pencil, save and continue, you have your assessment. No matter what program you have some type of assessment, or if you're set up to not have an assessment here, then of course you would not. But it looks very much like the interim screen. So if this particular client, which all the information is not filled out on this client, but your clients will have information filled out for them. But if this client did not have a disability, but during the time that you've been seeing them, they've been diagnosed with a specific disability, then you can go in, change that to yes, and then go down to the disability section and add that disability. Same thing with income or anything like that, which is probably what you will be changing or updating when you do your interim. So again, you go to your entry exit tab, you will go to interim, and you would add an interim review. Alright, you have several different things to choose from here when you're doing your interim, but you're always either going to do an annual assessment, which means that client has been in your project for a year or more. You need to update anything that has happened within that year. Well, the most recent thing that has happened, because hopefully you'll be doing the other thing, which is update pretty regularly. And so again, you'll only use annual assessment and update. In this case, this client has not been here a year, so we're just going to do an update. Save and continue. And let's say this client has gotten income. They got a job. So we want to say yes, because they are receiving income. And generally you don't want to do this until that client has actually given you a check stub, because that way you can verify that they really do have a job and income. And so then you would add an income. And we said that this client is working, so that would be earned income, but you have tons of things to choose from here. But this client got a job. We would put the name of the job. So let's just say they're working for Hope Connections, and they make $20 an hour. You want to list that there. How often do they get paid? We'll say bi-weekly. Receiving income, yes. The start date is automatically going to default to today's date, or the date that you have backdated to. End date only comes into play when that client loses that income. So if that client comes back 5 or 6 months later and they say, well, I don't work at Hope Connections anymore, I work at Burger King, then you could end that income, and then you can add a new income. you would put your monthly amount. I'm sorry, I skipped that. And annual, if you wanted to put the annual income, you could, but if you didn't want to do that, you don't necessarily have to do that. And so then you would save it and exit. And let's say that's the only thing that changed. But of course, you can change anything in the interim. You can change their non-cash benefits. So let's say they didn't have SNAP benefits or something like that when they started with you, but you've done great case management, you've been able to get them that non-cash benefits, you could do that. Also the same thing with health insurance. If their insurance changes, or if they didn't have insurance when they first came in, when you did your entry, you can add that insurance under an interim. Alright, and you want to save and exit, and once you do that, you see a little blue 1 has popped up here. That means there is one interim. So let's say a month later something else happens and you want to go in and change that income or insurance or whatever, you can go back into that interim, add another interim review, and once you do that, that number is going to say 2. So however many interims you've done, this number will continue to rise. And this is the most important part about adding the interim. This is why you do it. Let's see. Over here, HUD has a report, and this is just for COC. This particular report is for COC funded projects. And this is why you show your work. That is the only way that you can show what you've done as far as helping clients achieve, more income, non-cash benefits, insurance, whatever. And again, this report is specifically for COC funded projects, but this report can be ran for any project. So for COC funded projects, for the date range that this particular report was ran for, there were 180 adults who were stayers in 2021, and then 95 in 2022, with a difference of 85. And this is where you show your work. This is what HUD looks at. The number of adults who increased earned income. How do they know if a client has increased earned income? Well, they look at the interims. That's where they pull that number from. And so out of 180 people, only 12 people in these particular projects for this particular date range increased their income. A very low number, right? 7%. Same number for 2022. But a higher percentage because there were fewer people. And I know for a fact that there are more of you who are working out there to increase income and things like that than what is reported. But if you don't show that work in the interim, the process that I just showed you, HUD does not know that you did that work. Same thing here. Change in non-employment cash income for adult stayers during the reporting period. These are the numbers that were reported. These are the numbers that increased non-employment cash income. All right. So again, very low percentages. I know there's more out there, but you have to show your work in the interim. Change in total income. So that means earned income and non-cash benefits. What were those totals? Then here, leavers. So how many? Here we were talking about stayers. Here we're talking about leavers. So the people who left during the particular date range for this report in these particular projects. So the people who left numbered 86 in 2021 and then 128 in 2022. So of the people who left, there were 12 people in 2021 and 12 people in 2022 whose earned income increased. Likewise here, the non-employment cash income, 86 people in 2021, 128 2022, 21 people who left in a better situation for non-employment cash income, and 38 people in 2022 left the project in that date range, well, these particular projects in that date range for 2022. And then total income, these two added together, you see what those numbers are here. So this is the report that when you hear me do training and things like that, and I say interims are the only way that you can show your work, this is the report that I mean when I say that. And again, this one was for one particular group of providers, but it can be ran for any provider to show the numbers that increased income. All right, so hopefully you learned something today, and if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. Thank you.